I don't even need my tablet anymore. It's all put through the goggles. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still need some kit. I still need the equipment to survive out here. I still need my corpse gloves, and I got a blade in the bag. I got a bunch of stuff like that. I half expected, to be honest, I half expected when I reinstalled all my data, when I ghosted it back in, I expected my verification not to work. Ghosting is the way I communicate with you is a double-blind system. There's someone who I don't know gave me an encrypted frequency and target IP that I broadcast to. I don't know where it is. I don't know anything about it. All I know is that when I broadcast, I do all my presets. And part of the presets is a DNA retinal standard biolock scanning to confirm it's really me and I'm alive and all that. And that's one of the ways I keep track of my data, is because I have all the information ready to go, and I just log in and transfer the files like a backup. It's kind of commonly believed that what you know and what you are the same thing. Everything you read, see, and hear is makes up part of who you are. Makes up what you are. And this massive database of information, this knowledge is known as your ghost. A common slang term for it. So when I called up to ghost all my info, I don't know, I just had this feeling like I wouldn't get authentication, like I wasn't the same person anymore. It's probably not what you wanted to hear, is it? Being in that flash site probably did some damage. Mind's a very fragile thing, you know. People don't really understand how fragile the brain truly is. I mean, all you need is the right amount of pressure in the right way, and crack. That's it, you're gone. And the you that everyone knows is someone else with your face. I think that there's something to be said for soldiers, how they operate. I ought to be grateful. Look at all this equipment I have, but I'm still not me. I still feel like I left me somewhere. Maybe I'd feel the same way if they hadn't taken my legs. Maybe this is all just residual from being in the rack. When I've caught myself asking myself questions that I never really asked before, you know? Like, what's the point? I mean, you know the world's coming now. I mean, I've done my part. I've warned you about the future. So who am I broadcasting for? Am I broadcasting for you? Or am I broadcasting for me? Or is this just like some strange zombie habit that I don't know how to break? I have to keep broadcasting, I know that. But I don't know where. I think what I'm going to do, to be honest, I think I'm going to start heading towards some answers. I can work on who I am and what I am on the way, but I better start looking for some answers. There's a saying that suffering begets wisdom. So I must find someone who's suffered more than I have to gain some of their wisdom. There's a city, a rebel city out here. They call it the Lost City. The city of New Rome. It's not acknowledged by any of the megas. You hear fringers talk about it. Everyone knows it exists and is out here, but not many people go to it, or those who do are usually the people who stay there. They don't come back. The Caesar that runs it, he's an interesting guy. But in the city, there's a dread man there. And I think he could get some answers for me. I think he's the one who I should talk to. Help me straighten this stuff out. Dreadmen, like this helmet, they have augmented reality. There's two kinds of there's virtual reality, which is the synthetic world, like eyes, you completely computer rendered. But like this heads-up display, there's another system that was created called augmented reality, and it was enabled you to overlay like a friend or foe system, exactly like this helmet. So in essence, I'm walking around with augmented reality. The difference between me and a Dreadman is the Dreadman was a failed project. Some people didn't believe they even existed, but I know they do. What they did was, when they found out that the Dreadmen existed, or when they found out about this augmented reality and how it worked, you didn't need to have a screen, you see, because it overlaid into your vision. So what they did was they created an implant in the visual center of the mind, so that it, instead of looking through glass like I do, it just augments your reality real time. So you actually have friend or foe recognition systems in your mind, so your brain actually creates highlights and things like that on its own. It's different for everyone. And once they started looking at sensor arrays that they could use, somebody got the bright idea to put in a scanner as well, so that you'd have this, be able to do everything that this recon helmet can do, only you do it inside someone's mind as an implant rather than a piece of armor. So they did a few tests, and no one officially even admitted that tests were done, but they did a few tests. The problems was, you see, is that the subjects were all going insane. They all spun off into madness. You see, when you put in the scanner and alter people to change their perception, they began to see things that weren't there yet they were, like things that you wouldn't see normally, like a radio wave suddenly had shape, and it would become, well, some people say the Dreadmen would see fog that would sing to them, and sometimes there was little creatures that would be running around on the floor that weren't there, and the creatures would talk to them, and latent transmissions and ham radio signals, and it was just more than the mind could take. And like I said, the mind's a pretty fragile thing, and they snapped.